Hello. Now we're going to look at proportion in more detail. So a reminder on our language, ratio is where we are comparing parts of groups together, and proportion is where we're comparing part of a group to the whole or to the total. And usually we will write proportion as a fraction, but we could also write it as a decimal or a percentage. It depends on how we're asked to give our information. The other thing we're going to talk about today is directly proportional, which is an idea we've actually dealt with a whole lot, but we haven't called it that yet. So let's start off with an example. There are 12 red cars and 8 blue cars in a car park. Find the ratio of red is to blue cars. So we have 12 red cars and 8 blue cars, so our ratio of red is to blue would be 12 is to 8. But we know we don't want to leave it in that form because I can see I have a common factor. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I'm going to see that my ratio in its simplest form is 3 is to 2. For every 3 red cars I have 2 blue cars. And that's my ratio in its simplest form. And that's what we should do. Now, proportion. What's the proportion of red cars? Well, for the proportion, I would need to know the total, because the proportion is going to compare a part of a group to the total. So I need to know the total number of cars that I'm dealing with. Well, in the context of this question, there's 12 red cars and 8 blue cars. They're the only cars in the car park, as we're given the information in the question. So our total would be our red plus our blue, would be 12 plus 8 is 20. So there's a total of 20 cars in our car park. So what's the proportion of red cars? Well, that's going to be 12 out of 20. And I know that I have a common factor there of 4. And I can divide that out, show that I'm dividing that out in a few different ways. This is one of them. And I can show that I have 3/5 of my cars in my car park are red. And that's the way we'd often say it in English. 3/5 of the cars are red is the same as saying the proportion of red cars is 3/5. So what's the proportion of blue cars? The proportion of blue cars, well, we know our total now is 20, so our proportion of blue cars is going to be our number of blue cars out of our total. So that's going to be 8 out of 20. And again, we have a common factor of 4. So we can simplify that down. And that is going to leave us with 2/5. Now that makes a certain amount of logical sense. 3/5 of our cars are red, 2/5 of our cars are blue, and that covers all the possibilities. So if we add up our proportion of red cars and our proportion of blue cars, we get 5/5. And that makes sense for our total proportion. 5/5 would be our total. That'd be 1. Or 100%. To that end, we could also write this as a percentage or as a decimal. So if I wanted to write my proportion of blue cars as a percentage, I'd want to get my denominator to 100, so I'd multiply above and below by 20. And I would end up with 40 out of 100, or 40%. Or if I was asked for that as a decimal, 40 out of 100, I could move my decimal place 2 places, and I would end up with 0.4. So those are the different ways we might be asked for writing our proportions. Now, what does directly proportional mean? Directly proportional is the situation we've actually been dealing with for lots of our ratios so far. It's just where the ratio of things is the same all the time. So as things change, they change in the same ratio. So if I go into a shop and I want to buy 2 Twix chocolate bars, and there's no special deal or anything going 2 for 1 or something like that, I just go in and I buy 2 separate chocolate bars and it costs me €4. How much would 1 Twix bar cost me? Well, logically, I can feel that if I had half as many chocolate bars, that would cost me €2. If I halved the number of chocolate bars that I had, I'd half the amount of money I had to pay. assuming there was no specials or deals going on. Well, if I wanted 3 Twixes, how much would that cost me? Well, I think I know that that would cost me €6. So what's happening? The ratio of the two of them is staying as 1:2. So if I have 2 Twixes, it costs me €4. If I have 1 Twix, it costs me €2. Directly proportional just means that if I double one side, I double the other. If I half one side, I half the other. If I triple one side, I triple the other. That's all our directly proportional means, that the ratio remains constant as we change things. Now, let's look at another example. Zef earns €60 in 8 hours. Anne earns €45 in 5 hours. If they work the same number of hours, who earns more? Well, if I'm not being careful in my thinking, I might say, well, it's obvious that Zef earns more. They earn €60 and Anne only earns €45. But I'm not comparing like with like when I make that argument, because Zef worked longer. Zef worked for 8 hours to get that €60, and Anne only worked for 5 hours to get that €45. So how would I compare like with like? How would I make sure that I wasn't going to make an error? Well, I'd have to work out the same number of hours. How much does each earn in the same number of hours? So the standard way that we would do this is to find how much they would earn in 1 hour. Or we could find out how long it takes them to get €1. So how many hours would they have to work to get €1? And then we would be able to compare their earnings as well. But we must compare like with like. Now, in the way we usually describe things in English, we'd usually like to think about how much a person earns in 1 hour. So that's the way I'm going to approach this question that I've been asked. But I could just as validly find out how long does it take for each person to earn €1. Now, let's start off with Zef. They earn €60 in 8 hours. I need to know how much they earn in 1 hour. So if I know 8 hours, if I divide by 8, I have to divide the other side by 8 as well to keep the proportion the same, to keep the balance the same. So I end up with €7.50 in 1 hour. So Zef earns €7.50 in 1 hour. How much does Anne earn? Well, she earns €45 in 5 hours. So how would I work out how much she earns in 1 hour? I divide by 5. If I wanted to know how long it took her to earn €1, I'd divide both sides by 45, because 45 divided by 45 would give me 1. But here I want to know what 1 hour gets me in euro. So I divide 5 into 5 and I get 1. So in 1 hour, Anne has earned €9. So now I can very easily see, because I'm comparing like with like. In 1 hour, Zef earns €7.50. And in the same amount of time, in 1 hour, Anne earns €9. So Anne clearly earns more. Pardon. Anne earns more. Now, let's have a look at this question here. This is building off of the same question. So this is the same Zef and the same Anne in these questions here. Anne works 6 hours. How much will she earn? Well, let's start with what we know. We know in 5 hours, Anne will earn €45. What's my aim? It's important we get really good at storytelling in maths. What's our aim? Well, I want to know in 6 hours, how much money will I earn? In 6 hours, how much money will I earn? Well, I'm going to find out, just like when I was doing my comparisons, I'm going to find out using the unitary method how much do I earn in 1 hour? And then I can easily multiply that by 6 to get up to how much would I earn in 6 hours, or how much would Anne earn in 6 hours. So let's find out how much we'd earn in 1 hour. We've already done it here, but I'm going to keep my structure for how we would approach all of these questions. So in 1 hour, we would earn €9. And then in 6 hours, we would earn 6 times as much. So in 6 hours, we would earn €54. So very important part. In 5 hours, we earn €35. That's when I'm asked my question, I write down what I know and I write down my aim. So I'm telling myself the story of what I need to do. Now, Zeph earns €75. How long did they work? So we know that Zeph earns €60 in 8 hours. And our aim, again, is if we earn, or if they earn €75, how many hours would that equate to? So I've written down what I know and what I need to find. Now I need to look at, I'm changing the euro here. Before I knew times and I was asked for a new time. Here I'm asked for a different euro amount, so I need to find out what €1 gets me in hours. How long does it take Zeph to earn €1? So I need to divide 60 by 60. That's going to give me 1 on my euro side. And what does that give me in my time side? Well, nothing particularly pleasant. It gives me 2/15 of an hour. Oops. 2/15 of an hour. Now I need to find out how long it will take me to earn my €75. So I multiply both sides by 75. 75 by 1 is obviously €75. So the euro side is sorted. And then when I multiply this, I get 10 hours. So it will take Zeph 10 hours to earn their €75. And that is what we need for our ratio and proportion type questions and our directly proportional idea.